Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm able to hear you clear.
All right. So, let's start today's session. So, today we are going to talk about investment. If you go to our website, this is one of the picture which appears on the website, and it compares wealth management to marathon race. Frankly speaking, if you really look at marathon, what is it? It's running, right? A kid learns to walk probably around the age of 1, and in another 3 to 6 months time it learns how to run. It's something which is very, very natural, very simple. However, when you convert this into, say, marathon, the kind of requirements you have now are completely different. Knowing how to run is not good enough. You need to ensure that you have good endurance, physical fitness, willpower, so on and so forth. Right? Same is the case with wealth management. Actually, a lot of people find building wealth to be a very, very difficult process. But really speaking, it can be made extremely simple. However, the problem, comes up only when you try to do those things over a long period of time. Generally, what happens is that most of our behavior, it originates from short-term events which are happening right now, right? And that dictates our behavior and hence our ability to use long-term objective to implement in terms of our behavior, it becomes a little difficult. And this is a hardwired thing. It exists in everyone. For instance, a lot of us might enroll on the 1st of January that, okay, you want to go to the gym, you want to start exercising, this is the year, you want to lose weight, you want to be fit, etc., etc. But after maybe 15, 20 days of time, it just kind of disappears. The enthusiasm goes away. Similar thing happens in terms of diet plan. So this is a very, very, common issue, which it's basically the way we are built. If you really ask me, what is a simple step in terms of building your wealth? It's very easy. Actually, yeah, everyone has heard of SIP, the Systematic Investment Plan. Okay. So we carried out a certain study. This was carried out about in May 2018. So that's 2 years back. And what we did is that we analyzed data of last 15 years and looked at large number of combinations, running into 5 to 6,000 combinations. And we said that if suppose we were to do SIP, what are the chances that we'll make a reasonable amount of money? And this is the, I'll just kind of zoom in. These are the kind of returns. So we looked at, okay, what is the probability that you'll make more than 10%? Suppose you do SIP for 15 years, there are 97% chances that your return will be more than 10%, right? So longer you stay in doing something like SIP, very, very simple thing. And here what we have assumed, we have not looked at any mutual fund or any such thing. We said that we just had invested in BSE Sensex, right? So if suppose, we were to hold the stocks which constitute BSE Sensex in the right proportion, and we kept buying them every month over a period of 15 years, there's a 97% chances that the return you will get would be more than 10% per annum. And 10% is a huge return, yeah? And here again, we did not consider the fact that all these stocks actually pay you dividend. So if you consider a dividend yield of about 1 to 1.5%, we are kind of getting closer to 12%, right? That's the kind of return it is possible to earn. So frankly speaking, what is required to be done is extremely simple, right? Take certain amount of money based on your life goals, etc., and just keep investing. But that is where the real problem is. As I said that, running is very simple, but when you convert that running into a marathon race, your requirements in terms of the factors which impacts the success of a race is very different from just running. So similarly, when you look at doing this SIP over a period of time, there are many other factors which comes into play. So one of the thing is the volatility, right? So this is again a BSE Sensex chart for last 25 years. Now you look at something like this. In 2008, the BSE Sensex fell by something like 60%. Of course, these are monthly numbers. So if you had plotted daily numbers, the fall was as steep as 70%. Meaning what? Suppose you're sitting with, say a wealth of 1 crore. During this period of time, that 1 crore went down to 30 lakhs. Now, this is the kind of time when people start, they kind of start getting worried about what is going to happen to market. And the most common action is to stop investing in the market. And this kind of things have happened in several times in the past. So if you look at this end of 2015, beginning of 2016, there's a drop of 20%. Recently, we saw a drop of 30-35%. So this keeps happening. The problem is that most of us think that when we invest, this is the way the returns are going to be. They're going to be like a fixed deposit returns. Month after month, you're going to keep growing. So if you look at your portfolio and the value of your portfolio, month after month, you want it to grow. But that's not how the market behaves. Sometimes it rises up, sometimes it falls. It's a zigzag pattern. So it kind of the market, if you want to really look at high returns, the high returns comes primarily from equity investment, but that equity investment comes along with volatility. And that causes a lot of pain. And that is the pain which forces a lot of us to deviate from the simple step of investing money. Okay? Now let's look at something interesting. Today we are going to be talking about investment. So if you see investment, we earn money. Part of the earning we save. This saving is invested. This investment could be in any of the 4 asset classes broadly: equity, debt, real estate, and gold. But if you ask me a question, sometimes I wonder, why do I need to invest? Why do I need to save? Okay. So I'm just going to ask some of you to respond to this. Why do you think we should invest? I'm looking at the chat window. Yeah, anyone? Why should we invest? Okay, I see Pooja saying for building better future. Anyone else? All right, I won't take too much of time here. So let me put down what I think the reason why we invest. The first thing is that we want to meet our financial goals. That is the reason why we invest. Okay. The second thing is that sometimes there are expected, unexpected, and unplanned expenditure which comes on. Okay. Could be medical emergencies and so on and so forth. So we need to ensure that we need to have kitty which we can utilize to meet even this unplanned expenses. Another thing which I believe is that people feel very secure if there's a reasonable amount of investment they have made, and there's a value of portfolio. It kind of gives you this mental satisfaction that you have a reasonable amount of money and you are ready to face any challenges which life may throw at you. Right? Now let me just divert slightly from here and talk about this new age thing called FIRE. Financial independence, retire early. That's what it stands for, right? And I want you guys to respond when I ask questions. So let's say that you are a 40-year-old person and given a choice, you'd want to retire today, right? So your retirement age is 40 years. and you believe your life expectancy is 90 years. Of course, it could have been 100, 120, 80, etc. But I think the difference between 90 and 40, which is 50. So, doing calculation becomes easier. That's the reason I put life expectancy as 90. All right. And this is your cost of living. Every year you spend 12 lakhs rupees. That's your cost of living. So this is what the situation is. And you say that I don't want to invest money, right? I'm just going to put whatever money I have in a kitty. And I'm going to draw the money from there on a monthly basis, a lakh of rupees a month to meet my cost of living. If this is the case, then what do you think? How much money do you think you need if you want to retire today and you're 40 years old? Okay, Ravi says 4 crore. Anyone else? Now keep in mind, we are saying that why do I want to invest? I don't want to invest. I just don't want to get involved into this complexity of investment. I'm just going to dump money inside a kitty and I'm going to draw 1 lakh rupees from there every month. This ensures that I don't have to worry about the investment. Right. Okay. So few answers: 4 crore from Ravi, 1 from Anita, 5 crore from Ashish. Let's see. So I'm just going to put it out here. Just give me a sec. The Excel spreadsheet seems to have moved. Yeah. All right. So here we are. So we are 40 years of age, whoever. Yeah. And we want to retire today. Our life expectancy is 90. Expenses are 12 lakhs per annum. And we have no returns, etc. We need 6 crore. That's actually 12 lakhs multiplied by 50 because we need to survive for 50 years. So 50 multiplied by 12 lakhs is 6 crore. So you need 6 crore rupees to retire. If you're a 40-year-old today and you want to retire today, if you have 6 crore rupees in your kitty, and technically you can say that you can retire. But there is a problem, right? The problem is that what I'm spending today as 12 lakhs rupees per annum is not going to remain 12 lakhs rupees per annum. It's going to grow because there is something called inflation. Let's say if inflation was 2% per annum, meaning every year the prices went up by 2%. So today, whatever is costing you 100 rupees, next year it will cost you 102 rupees. Okay, so if you look at an inflation of 2%, suddenly the retirement amount, which was 6 crore in absence of inflation, has now gone up to 10 crore. Okay, and what if it was say 5%? Because in India, the inflation as of now, recent times it has kind of varied somewhere between 3 to 5%. So if it's a 5% kind of inflation, then I need 25 crore rupees to retire. This is assuming I am not making any investment. Okay, I'm just holding the money, and of course you have to worry that there's no demonetization kind of event happens. Otherwise, exchanging money would be very difficult, right? Okay, so in absence of investment, in absence of zero return on your savings, the amount is humongous, right? Let's say if suppose I made an investment which gave me 5% post-tax return. What is the meaning of 5% post-tax return? That, after paying tax, if I invest 1 crore, I'm getting 5 lakhs. So, I'm making an assumption. If the return was 5% per annum, then again, see what happened. At 0% return and 0% inflation, a requirement of 6 crore. At 5% inflation and 5% return, a requirement has come back to 6 crore. Right? So we need to have a rate of return at least to overcome the inflation, right? That should be the minimum target. Let's say if suppose I was able to earn 1% more post-tax return than the inflation. What happens? My amount comes down. Let's look at 7%. Let's look at 8%. At 8%, meaning around 9% pre-tax return, that, the value has fallen by about 50% to 3 crore 26 lakhs. What if this was 12%? Okay, 1 crore 18 lakhs. So you see what is happening, that the rate of return which we earn on our investment actually determines how much money we need to meet certain life goals. Here we just took one life goal, that was of retirement, and we said that okay, we want to retire today. I'm a 40-year person, I want to retire today, so how much money would I need? Okay, so going back, and I'm just going to kind of put this back here to 0 and 0. Okay, another critical thing which I want to explain while we are at on this spreadsheet. Sometimes people say, oh, the interest rates are low, right? But the interest rates per se are irrelevant. If you look at it, if suppose the inflation is 5% and my returns are 5%, I'm pretty much the same, right? If the inflation is 2%, then even at 2% return, I'm at the same level, right? So one critical thing we must understand here is that interest rate or the yield or the return per se has very limited impact. What you really are looking at is what are called as real rate of return. The rate of return which exceeds the inflation. Okay. So for instance, at 3%, which is just 1% above the rate of return, this falls to 4 crore 77 lakhs, right? So we're not really keen on in terms of absolute rate of return, achieving absolute rate of return. Our target should be, I want to have X% return over the inflation. That should be your target of your investment, right? Okay, let me go back to the presentation. So we understood one thing, that there is something called inflation, and with the passage of time, the same amount of money will help you buy less and less amount of goods and services. So one more factor I would like to add here in terms of why do we need to save and invest is to beat inflation. Okay, so it's actually a very critical part of your investment strategy. The return which you earn on your investment helps you to grow your kitty, the value of your portfolio. And on the other side, you have inflation, which is eroding the value of your portfolio. Right? So these are two opposing forces which we need to combat. Right? So besides meeting the first three targets, so to say, you need to ensure that the investment helps you to beat inflation. Right? And we saw the higher the rate of return, the lower is the amount of money I need to meet my goals. Right? So now the